Hello, hello, hello. This is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and the Best Boss Bootcamp Minute. We are doing part four of our four-part response to Wondering in Wichita, who asks, Dear Danny, what are the most important things that a leader can do? So we spent some time talking about the importance of mindset, the importance of having a systems perspective, and the importance of defining reality continuously. And the fourth piece that I want to share with you is a very specific strategy that I want to invite you to consider. And it's to recognize that it's the nature of teams and organizations to connect with each other in order to get the work done. And when we connect with each other in these social systems, there tends to be quite a bit of negative thinking, feeling, and complaining. It's just the nature of the beast. We have a negativity bias. We move towards that in all our conversations. Oftentimes in our conversations, even with the best of intentions, we move into, I call them communities of complaint, where we connect with each other emotionally, but it's around complaining. So I want to give you a strategy that I call explaining, not excusing. Explaining, not excusing. And what that means is that I want you to give yourself permission and to give your people permission to explain what is going on for them, but not excusing what their behavior is or what their mistake was or what happened, right? To explain, not excuse. And to start using that language with people. Ask them, say, are you explaining or are you excusing? If you're explaining, come on in. I want to hear more. I want to hear more. If you're excusing, we have to have a different kind of conversation. So it really opens up the doors for people to say what they need to say, but it's in the framework of explaining, of giving you context and information as opposed to excusing their behavior. So really, really powerful. There are three methods, or there are three pieces of that explaining, not excusing, that I want to share with you. The first is always remember to practice the 60-40 rule. The 60-40 rule is the idea that when you are in conversation with one of your people, you spend 60% of your time listening and 40% of your time speaking. In other words, the person on the other side of the conversation actually has 60% of the bandwidth of that conversation. You really want to work on your listening skills. I know that's almost counterintuitive when we think about leadership. We think about leadership being, I need to say things, I need to do things, I need to be active. A lot of leadership is about being strategically and actively passive in response mode, as opposed to engaging mode. So that's the first thing. So practice the 60-40 rule. And in that 60-40, the number two is don't solve problems. Learn how to listen to problems. This was a lesson I learned early on in my own leadership career. I'm being called out by one of my direct reports when she presented a problem to me, and I immediately went into solving mode. And she said, Danny, I just need somebody to listen. And of course, she was a PhD student in psychology, and I was not. So she understood what was going on. I want to share that with you as a lesson that I learned and that I want you to learn as well. It's the idea of you don't need to solve everything. You don't need to solve. You need to listen. You need to be able to accept, to hear, to respond empathetically. And that's number three, is to empathize. Listen actively. Empathize and listen actively. What does empathize mean? It means that I come into the space with you to see and to feel and to hear what you are seeing, feeling, and hearing. And I remove my judgment from it. It's really just about being in that space with you. So don't get it confused with sympathizing. Sympathizing is feeling sorry. It's putting our own lens on what this other person is going through. We don't need to do that. What we need to do is to be better empathizers, where I say, I actively listen. So I repeat back to you what you're saying. I use the chicken head response. I'm nodding a lot. I stay in empathy. So those are the three things. The first is practice the 60-40 rule. Secondly is don't solve, just listen. And third, as you are listening, empathize and listen actively. All right. I hope that helps. Thank you so much, Wichita. That was a great question. For those of you that missed any of what we talked about, I encourage you to go back and listen to the previous 3 Best Boss Bootcamp minutes that were sent to you. And if you don't have them, if you're just joining the community, please just let me know and I'll be happy to send them to you. All right, this is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and the Best Boss Bootcamp Minute. Thank you so much. Have a great, until the next time that we talk. All right, bye now.